and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Cassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, we're going to be doing the reading for the total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. This is happening on December 14th, 2020, and it is going to be quite a show, you guys. We have quite an interesting lineup going on for this eclipse. So we have the eclipse is happening at 23 degrees of Sagittarius, and we have the sun and the moon aligned as they always are on a new moon. This is a new moon eclipse, which is all about starting things. It's about initiating. It's about manifesting. It's about that fresh new cycle, right? So we have the sun, the moon. We also have Mercury and the South Node. And these are all conjunct together. And so when we think about this, we have the sun, which is our ego. It's our consciousness. We have the moon, which is our instinct, our intuition, our subconscious. And then we have Mercury, which represents the mind and communication. And so all aspects of our consciousness, right? All key aspects of our consciousness all lined up together. Also conjunct the South Node, and the South Node is a node of the moon. It represents our past energies, the energies that we're comfortable with, the energies that come naturally to us. And then in opposition to that, we have the North Node, which is our destiny. It's our purpose in this lifetime. It's the energy that we're being called to learn how to cultivate and express and move into. So this is very fascinating for a lot of different ways. We have all aspects of our consciousness really aligned during this solar eclipse. It's like you can imagine them almost shifting into alignment and unifying in their energy. And so we're feeling, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of conviction here. There's a lot of unity within ourselves, within our minds, within our beings. This is Sagittarius, so this is fire energy. And so we are extremely fired up and ready to go. And when we have this is mutable fire energy. So this is the energy that's changeable. It's the energy that's explorative, that's willing to shift and shape its form in order to adapt, in order to thrive. And so we're really being asked to call upon that energy. We're going to feel very motivated and very driven during this eclipse. It's like, for those of us who hadn't quite been there yet, it's almost like that switch that gets flipped with this eclipse, and all of a sudden the whole room is flooded with light. Kind of like we were stumbling around in the dark. It's weird, I'm getting this image of like a dark parking lot or something. And then it's like you pass through the motion sensors in that one place, and then the floodlights go off. It's kind of like that. It's sort of like, it feels as though some of us have been stumbling in the dark, at least in some area of our lives. And the last eclipse that we had really helped to shed some light and some clarity on some things. But things weren't feeling like they were 100% connecting. And so with this total solar new moon eclipse, it is going to feel like a lot more of the pieces are coming into focus and coming into alignment. We also have a trine going on here to the conjunction of Mars and Eris. And so this is really positive, fortuitous energy here, because Mars and Eris are, I like to talk about them as the masculine and the feminine warrior planets or bodies. And so that unified energy of that masculine feminine warrior, that energy, our will, our drive, our conviction, is very much in alignment and supported by the Sagittarian energy, and that's Aries, so that's also fire energy. So that's a lot. We have the cardinal fire energy and the mutable fire energy, and together it's just like this. I'm seeing this massive flame, kind of like when there's already a fire and then you pour gasoline on the fire. That's the sort of image that I'm getting in my mind right now when it comes to these energies and how they're going to be working together. And I'm also looking at Jupiter, as Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. And it's wicked funny that I guess I did look. Jupiter's doing what Jupiter's been doing. Jupiter's in the stellium with Pluto and Saturn and Pallas. And And so it's those energies as well that we're really feeling. Jupiter being the ruler of the new moon because he is the ruler of Sagittarius. And so just more of that energy, and really everything that we've been learning about ourselves, stepping into our empowerment, about our belief systems, about the structures in our lives, all of these things, these deep soul lessons of 2020 coming to the forefront as well, and really coalescing. It's sort of like all of the pieces, like a puzzle that had a bunch of different pieces, and all of those pieces aligning. Or I'm actually seeing, I don't know if any of you guys ever played the game Tetris. And so when everything lines up and you get everything in that row, and then the row blows up and disappears because you've got all the squares lined up, that's sort of like that's sort of the energy that this is bringing, which is really funny. So it's really tying together a lot of things for us with this energy, and we're feeling really centered in ourselves. We're feeling really centered in the lessons that we've learned, and really motivated to put into practice the things that we've learned and to pave that new path forward. There is a little bit of tension here. When we have this alignment in Sagittarius with the moon, with the sun, with Mercury, also being conjunct the south node, this is also like the old, right? And the opposition is with the north node. And so it's kind of a tug of war. The north node is our purpose. This is where we're being called. This is our destiny. And the south node energy is, we may be feeling a little bit stuck in that energy. We may be feeling as though there are just those last few aspects of our old, especially belief systems. Sagittarius is very much, it is that planet that can get a bit dogmatic, right? Sagittarius craves experience, craves exotic experiences, and different viewpoints and different understandings and experiences, so that they can synthesize their own belief system and their own ethics and morals, right? We're talking about the energy of Jupiter here, which is also very much about ethics and morals and all of that. However, once Sagittarius gets a fixed idea in their heads, so a fixed belief, it can be difficult to shake that. And so we are being challenged to look at, what belief systems am I still strongly identifying with? What old patterns and perspectives am I still identifying with? What old patterns when it comes to my faith, right? Where do I need to expand further? What is it of this old energy that I'm ready? And this is like, think south node, north node. What is it of this old energy that I'm ready to release finally, completely, because it no longer is in alignment? It just doesn't serve me. Maybe for some of us, I've tried to keep it in my life and it's just not working. It just isn't compatible with this. And what energy do I want to bring forward into my new life? It's like, it's the call of the wild, the call of the unknown, of the uncharted territory. The north node energy is foreign to us. We have never experienced it before. It is what we came here to learn. It's the role that we came here to step into. And so it can feel a bit uncomfortable. So there's a little bit of a tug of war over this. But honestly, I'm really not feeling it as being that difficult for that many of us. I feel like a lot of us are at that point where we're ready to go. We're ready to let go. We're ready to move into this new phase and really make some things happen for ourselves. We do have this alignment here also being squared by Neptune, which brings a bit of challenge, but I see this more as, and it's actually making a T-square with the true node, all of these planets in Sagittarius, Sun, the Moon, Mercury, South Node, and Neptune. So Neptune is the equalizing force. So I'm really seeing this more than anything as, one thing is Neptune is the great dissolver, right? So Neptune is stepping in and saying, okay, so you see very clearly what you believe, what is in your hearts, what your truth is. And so which aspects of this are old and which aspects are like, are you still identifying with that maybe aren't true for you? What are you ready to expand beyond, basically? And how can I help dissolve any of those old patterns so that you don't take those with you? I know you're ready to go, but let's not take that with us. So that's the opportunity that Neptune is giving. And it's giving us, when we're feeling that tug between the old and the new, Neptune is also the planet that represents the collective consciousness. It represents spirituality and unity and the deepest levels of our intuition, the deepest recesses of our minds. Neptune is the gatekeeper that separates our solar system from the rest of the cosmos, right? And so Neptune is here in this role, really calling us, if we're feeling that tug of war, to bring it back to that spiritual perspective, to bring it back to that collective, unified perspective. How am I wanting to be of service to the collective? How am I wanting to be of service to spirit, to myself, really, because being of service to myself is service to others. Like, where is that higher yearning for that collective unity, for that beautiful future that we are envisioning, both for our own selves and for the collective? And like, what is resonating with that and what isn't? If we're having trouble deciding between a path, that can help be the equalizer, is that higher sense of spirituality. And Neptune is the planet of sacrifice and service. So that higher service to that higher purpose. We're really being asked to tap into that. This energy is all about stepping into our life purpose, stepping into the future that is calling to us. And that call has been getting louder and louder throughout 2020 until at this point, it's basically like a roar. And so we're being asked to call upon that expansive Sagittarius energy, right? That wants to explore, that wants to know more. And we're being asked to pair that with that true node energy in Gemini, which is curious. So it's like, yes, be firm in who we are, but don't hold too tightly to that, even that new version of who we've become. Understand that we can always become more, and there's always more to know and always more to learn. And be curious like Gemini and seek that out. Be open like Sagittarius and be curious like Gemini. And that's how we navigate this energies. It can feel slightly intimidating because, like we said, this is our uncharted territory. We haven't done this before. Although we kind of have. It's uncharted territory, but it's uncharted to us in this human experience. Our soul has been here. It's almost like, it's weird. I'm feeling it like it is uncharted territory, but at this point, it's like we've been training for this moment for so many lifetimes that it's really, we're coming back to the truth and the remembrance of who we are, right? So in that way, it's familiar. So it's that contrast of feeling familiar and yet feeling new at the same time. And so we want to move out of our comfort zone into our discomfort zone, if you will. But there's excitement there. It might not be comfortable, but it's exciting. And that's what we're craving right now more than anything else, is that excitement, that thrill of the new, that thrill of adventure, that thrill of paving that path that has never been walked before. Another interesting thing that we have going on during this eclipse is that we have Uranus and Black Moon Lilith conjunct as well. So that adds to that rebellious nature, that adds to that wanting to break free, to break out of that box, to really kind of charge into the unknown. That adds to that energy a lot. But then we also have Venus conjunct Juno. And this is, and so Venus and Juno is the planet that represents marriage and partnership, or the asteroid. I call them all planets. Anyone who likes to be really technical about astrology, I hope I don't offend you with that. But if I do, I mean, you're going to have to get over it, because it just, that's how it comes out sometimes. I'm aware that officially Juno is not a planet. Juno is, I believe, an asteroid. But what's more important is what they represent. And what Juno represents is marriage, commitment, partnership. And then we have Venus, which is the planet of among many other things, love and partnership. And so they are conjunct in the sign of Scorpio. And this is really interesting. And they're in a loose opposition with True Black Moon. I have two Black Moons that I look at. I look at Black Moon Lilith and True Black Moon. So they're just different. Black Moon Lilith is very erratic, right? So they're just different interpretations of where she is at any given time. So that's why you heard that twice. They're two different, the same thing, but two different approximations of it, essentially. And so this is really us looking at, we're going to be very serious, and we've been training for this, and this has been going on for a while as well, but this is really coming to a head during the solar eclipse too, is our partnerships and our relationships, especially our romantic, with that Juno energy. And we're looking at our partners through the lens of long-term commitment, especially in the sign of Scorpio, which is very intimate, very intense, very passionate, not surface level at all. This is deep. So like, do I have a deep soul connection with this person? Can I imagine myself spending the rest of my life with this person, right? Is this somebody that I want to grow old with, that I want to build with? Somebody that truly sees into the truth and the essence of who I am, that also allows me to see into the truth and essence of who they are. And also with that loose opposition to true black moon, but also loves me in a way that makes me feel free, where I don't have to pretend to be anybody else, where I don't have to suppress or repress aspects of myself for fear of not being loved or not being accepted. These are the kinds of questions that we're asking in our partnerships. And we're going to be getting some answers to those questions. This has likely been on a lot of our minds for a while now. We've had that Venus retrograde. We had that Mars retrograde. We've had, retrogrades of everything, right? And just a lot of deep work that's been going into this Venus transit in Scorpio that we're having now. Just a lot of work that's been going into looking at our relationships and our partnerships. And so this is kind of the make it or break it time. We're really, if we've been in denial about something, we will know and see the truth. And with all of this fire energy, with all of this truthful energy, with all of this energy leading us toward our path and our purpose, we are really not going to be able to kind of sweep it under the rug anymore. To be like, well, they're not the one for me. Maybe, I'm sure there's somebody more suited to me out there, but this is good enough. Like, that energy is not going to fly anymore. We're not going to be able to do it. We want somebody who makes our heart sing. We want someone that we connect to on a very deep and visceral level. And we're not going to be able to do with any less. And that's good, because this is the time where so many of us are coming into divine partnerships, right? That divine counterpart energy. We are, in order for us to enact and live out the life that we want to live, we have to have someone who matches us on those levels. Otherwise, it's just going to be holding us back. And many of us have a divine partner who we are meant to do work with. And it's not to say that if they don't come around, we can't do our work anyway. It's certainly not to say that, but there is a purpose that we have together with some of these people. There are soul contracts waiting to be fulfilled that have to do with the ascension, that have to do with aiding humanity, as well as our own personal lives. And so we're feeling the pull and the tug of that right now. Clear. And anybody who's not in alignment with that, like I said, like, it's just not going to do. That energy is not going to do right now. We're not going to be able to stomach it. We may very much love the person that we're with, but if they're not the person for us, it's going to become clear and choices are going to have to be made. So, yeah, a lot of a lot of powerful energy with this eclipse. We are still within the realm of the 12-12 portal, receiving all of these activations, these massive DNA activations, all of the amazing stuff that's going on with that. I recommend that you guys check out those videos as well, the 12-12 portal and the 12-21. We are doing a live here at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adjust for your time zone. The link to find the time zone calculator is attached in the 1221 video, which is under the Astrological Ascension Energies playlist. There's going to be a mass meditation to help anchor in the Ascension timeline and the Age of Aquarius, beneficial Age of Aquarius timeline for humanity. And so we're going to be starting that at 1 o'clock EST. And the meditation itself will take place at 1:22 EST. It's going to be super fun. So I hope that I see you guys there for that. I'm going to be leading you through a guided meditation that was channeled from the Galactic Federation. But we're well within the energies of that still. Everything that's going on right now is preparing us for that December 21st. We are choosing a timeline for our own ascension. There's a woman that I follow, and she talks about how really for the rest of our lives, and that's not to say that we can't switch into a different timeline after this. That's just saying that it's going to require a lot more work. This is the only time in our lifetime that we will have this great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. It will not happen again. I don't know if she's correct about this. I don't know how to do the research. I tried to find out and I could not find the information. She's saying 2080 will be the next time that Jupiter and Saturn are conjunct. It happened once in 2000, and before that, I believe the last time that Jupiter and Saturn were conjunct was right around the time of Jesus's birth. Interestingly enough, they say that when they talk about the Star of Bethlehem, what that actually was the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, which is really, really fascinating. So it's a big fucking deal, you guys. It's a big deal. That's not to say we need to blow it up and make it overly important. I mean, I kind of am. It's exciting, but it's not like everything is going to radically shift, but there are major shifts that are going to happen internally and externally, and we're going to see those happen over time. Nothing happens like that. That's what I've learned with these astrological events. What I'm noticing for myself with the new moons, with the full moons, the eclipses, all of that, is it's not the day of it that I necessarily feel the energy, but it's in the aftermath. I feel it building, and then in the days and weeks that follow, I see those energies playing out in my life. So it's really interesting. And so don't think of it like on December 21st, this crazy, everything's going to go nuts. That's not necessarily true. However, that is the initiation for this energy. That is what kind of sets off, really cements in the energy. And then we see that flowing in our lives. And so the choices that we make leading up to December 21st, when our vibration and the truth of what's in our hearts and what we are choosing in every moment with our thoughts, our words, and our actions determines a timeline. That's a timeline that it is possible to move out of, but it's going to be a lot easier if we anchor into the timeline that we want moving forward. And yeah, so this woman that I like to follow, she was saying basically we're choosing a trajectory for the rest of our lives on this date. Which is funny. And I'm not trying to say that we always have a choice. We are incredibly powerful. We live in a quantum reality. All I'm saying is that, like, it makes it a lot easier if we just flow with the energies and work with them and choose what we want now. Just choose what we want now. Be honest with ourselves about what the energies are showing us and act accordingly so that we can be happy, so that we can move toward our purpose with the most ease and grace possible. And so the first card out from the Black Moon Astrology deck was Pluto, Transformation. And this is absolutely what we're going through. This is what we've been going through, is this transformation. And so this solar eclipse is going to be a transformation in and of itself, another layer of transformation, and this is card number 11. For those of you who like to pay attention, and we have been talking about the ones, the twos, and the zeros. And I just realized the other day, after doing the 12/12 portal video and talking about the significance of the ones, the twos, and the zeros, 0 being spirit, 1 being the individual, 2 being the duality and the unity of the duality, that 0 plus 1 plus 2 equals 3. And so it all breaks down to a 3. And so which is the ultimate trinity, the ultimate unity energy. So I don't know, that was really cool. But those of you who have been following along and paying attention with that, this is card number 11, 1-1. And so, yeah, it's this transformation. It's another level of transformation, preparing us for an even deeper level of transformation with the 12-21 energies. It's kind of like we've been building up to this all year. And this is the ultimate, this is like, just allow this transformation to flow. Allow things to happen the way that they're happening. This is the Phoenix energy, right? We are the Phoenix. We've been feeling that energy since October, which is 1-0. Of course, it's a 10 month. 10-0, 1-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-0. 10-10-2020 was the 10-10 portal when this Phoenix energy first came through, right? And so, at least to me, I noticed a lot of other readers have been channeling that recently as well, which is super cool that we're all picking up on that same energy. But yeah, that is the energy. This is what we are doing. We are the Phoenix. And so we are rising. Oh, it's so exciting. But just allowing this transformation and whatever that is entailing for us. This is a transformation. Pluto is the dark energy, the shadow energy, right? Pluto is our power. This is a transformation of our power as we step more fully and more deeply into our power. As we recall pieces of our souls, right? As we as we break all of these old vows, commitments, and contracts that are no longer serving us, as we step more firmly into who we are, more confidently into who we are. It's a transformation, and it's a transformation of power on all levels. As we take back our power individually, we see ourselves coming closer and closer and taking back power in the outside world as well. We see this when it comes to government, when it comes to all the systems of authority. Those systems are breaking down as we are taking back our power. They used to hold power over us. And now, as we break ourselves free from that mind control, from that control in all the aspects that it shows up in our lives, as we free ourselves and liberate ourselves from that, we transform. So that is really, really beautiful. This whole year, I started out, once again, on January 12th, 2020, right? 1-1-2-2020, when we had that eclipse with, or not eclipse rather, but the conjunction with Pluto and Saturn. And it's all happened from there. That was the initiation of this period of breakdown, of us taking back our power, taking back control, of us really waking up to the realization that we were controlled to begin with. A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people still don't know that, and they're going to be coming to this understanding and this realization. As we become more liberated, we begin to see more clearly who or what is holding us back, what is trying to tie us down. We look down and we see the chains, and then we realize that all we have to do is go like this. It's just a flick of the wrist. The chains are imaginary. Like I said, that's why this war is a spiritual war, and it's a battle over our minds. Once we free our minds, we can do anything. We talked about in the 12/12 portal video as well. I talked about the energy coming down and sort of the doorways in our brains that we're opening with all of this hidden potential, these latent spiritual gifts and abilities, as the power of our consciousness comes back online. It's so much of it. It's just the freedom of freeing of our minds. See, Sagittarius, I see. This is, of course, the total new moon eclipse in Sagittarius. New moon solar eclipse. I see. It's the seeing, it's the understanding, a transformation in what we see, in what we know, in what we realize. Really stepping into that, this transformation. This is that energy that we were talking about, transformation of our beliefs, transformation of our ideals, our ideologies, our morals, our ethics, our values. We are aligning less with the outer values and more with our inner values. It's not about what society tells us is right or wrong, right? It's about what we know and believe in our hearts. It's not about what's dictated to us on the outside. It's what we dictate to ourselves from within. That's that old versus the new. That's that energy that we talk about all the time, right? The fated life versus the destiny life. That is what we are experiencing right now. And it's really interesting. I was thinking more about that the other night. Like, that card really calls to me when it comes out. And the examples I gave the other day weren't really the best. But it's sort of like the way that I look at the fated life too, is like the fated life is the life that we're born into. And so part of that is like, we choose to be born into certain lineages so that we can heal that lineage, right? We can heal our ancestors. We get born into certain situations, right? There are certain traumas. There are certain things, certain abuse that is perpetuated within those cycles. That's part of the fated life. We chose to be born into that. But then our destined life is to break free of that cycle. When we break free of that cycle, we heal that cycle for all of our ancestors, for our children, for our grandchildren, 7 generations before and 7 generations back. We heal that energy when we break free of any of those toxic cycles. So that's an example of the fated life versus the destiny life. The fated life is also, we can look at it like the life that was chosen for us, and the destined life is the life that we choose for ourselves. And so that's the energy of this solar eclipse, is us really understanding that and choosing for ourselves what it is that we want to create, what it is that we want to experience, what it is that we want to heal, and how it is that we want to heal that. And then we got the Grand Trine blessings coming out. This is beautiful energy right here. Yes, there are so many blessings coming through for so many of us. When we really anchor into this positive timeline forward and we shift into this energy, right? This is like the big boost that gets us. It's almost like the boost that puts us into the cannon. And then December 21st is when we get fired from that cannon out into our projected, like a very cemented version of our projected reality. And as I said, we live in a quantum universe. We can always shift that. We can always change that. We have that power. But it's like, and those blessings just come pouring in. If we are in alignment, if we make the decisions, if we take the knowledge that we've seen, now that we are transformed, we see things in a different way. We understand things in a deeper way. Our perspective is cleaner and clearer because we've polished that lens, and we've polished that lens, and we've polished it some more. As we see through these transformed eyes, and we make decisions based on what we see and what we know now, right? Not what we knew back then, not what we were programmed to know and believe. Programmed by our culture, programmed by our family, programmed by our ancestors, programmed by our trauma. But what we truly know, now that we have transformed, now that we have moved out of our shadow energies, moved into them and through them and brought them into the light so they are no longer dictating our lives, right? But until we make the unconscious conscious, it will dictate our lives and we will call it fate. That is my favorite quote by Carl Jung. Right? So that's the process that we've been in, right? And now that those shadow energies are not dictating our lives, we're not mistaking that for our fate, because we understand we move out of that into our destiny, because we've transmuted that, we've transformed that. Now that we can see the way forward, we take that path forward, and it's blessings all the way. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Grand Trine. The Trine energy is, there's nothing difficult about it. It's not challenging. It's just like smooth and flowing. And so that is the energy that we're moving into, that smooth flowing energy. Does anything else want to come out here? I'm almost feeling like these cards, all right, I guess they're not completely done. We got the Mercury Retrograde Reinvention card. Reinventing ourselves, reinventing our reality, reinventing absolutely everything, reinventing our world. This is that energy. This is that energy of thinking outside the box, of creating something different, of seeing from a different perspective. I'm being shown the Hanged Man energy in the traditional tarot right now. And so that's what this Mercury retrograde energy is. It's like that energy of shifting and flipping our perspective, flipping our focus, seeing from that new perspective, and then acting from that new perspective. I feel like for some of us, it's almost like if we look at who we were at the beginning of this year compared to now, we're like a completely different person. And that happens throughout the course of our lifetimes, right? If we are the same person that we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, like, I don't want to say any statement that has judgment, but I mean, that's a damn shame because we haven't grown. Right? So we can expect to grow over time. However, in a year's worth of time, the amount of growth that so many of us have had, and after this, like during this solar eclipse, as we move, remember, we feel the energies after the event. We still feel those energies and we get more into the experience. It's kind of like this is the snap, the spark, and then we feel it's like what lights the fire, but then we experience the fire after. So we're going to be experiencing these energies. This is the energy that's moving us into December 21st, is the energy of this eclipse, which is really powerful. And so we may find that we don't recognize ourselves again, that we continue to grow and evolve. And for some people, I feel like it's going to be the momentum of it. I guess the fire analogy is a good one because it's sort of like, and I've used this analogy when I was trying to describe actually an experience that I had on ayahuasca once, when my consciousness, the velocity of my consciousness and how I experienced it. So that's the analogy. That's what they're wanting me to use again. It's that analogy of like when you douse a field in gasoline, and then if you were to light a match, and how quick that field would erupt in fire, like the velocity, the speed with which that fire would just engulf that entire field. Like that fast. That's the momentum. That's how fast for some people this next change and shift is going to be when these energies hit, when these blessings hit. It's going to be like almost, this is a little bit extreme, but sort of like you go to bed one night, you wake up the next day and you're like, who the hell am I? Because everything feels different. The way that you think, the way that you perceive, the way that you communicate, the way that you carry yourself, the level of confidence that you have. It's like all of that. That's how fast changes can happen right now. So it's a complete reinvention of ourselves over and over again, a reinvention of our reality. And the more we reinvent ourselves in our reality, the more we get confident about that, the more we get used to that, the more we realize how easy, simple and easy it really is to do that. If we're willing to let go and not cling on to our old identity, if we're willing to be fluid with our identity, to have fun with it, to know that our true soul, our soul has a personality, and that personality stays with us. It's expressed differently through different vehicles when we incarnate on Earth, because our brains have a different biochemistry. We're born into different ancestral lines. We have different experiences. We also take on the DNA of our lineage's experiences. And all of these different things, we have different astrological charts. And so we have, it's like different filters over the same personality. So like you don't ever have to worry about losing the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are is what's buried under all of this, and actually having fun with all of this, because it's like we get to put on a bunch of different costumes and play a bunch of different roles, like actors and actresses, right? This literally is a stage. It's a play. And so have fun with that. Know that you'll never lose the truth of who you are, and the more identities you play with, the more you embrace the changes and the fluctuations, the more you are then able to see what really resonates and fits and what doesn't. And you keep discarding the pieces that don't fit and and hold on to the pieces that do. That's that energy, the South Node versus the North Node. What aspects do I like about my life, about myself, about my beliefs that I'm ready to take with me into this new life? And what ones can I leave right here? Just leave it here, let Neptune dissolve it, let it go. And the more we practice we get with that, the more fun it becomes, this process of reinvention. So I love it. And then on the bottom of the deck here, we have Seventh House partnerships. And that's coming out with the North Node under, or the South Node, life stats. And so this right here, if I've ever seen it, is a clear indicator of karmic relationships, old soul contracts that are played out, that are finished, that are done. And you can make the decision to dissolve those soul contracts simply by setting that intention, in visualizing, imagining settling that soul contract with someone. Imagine yourself with that person, with the highest expression of that person, holding that contract, ripping it up, throwing it into the purple fire. All right, you can make any visualization you want, but you can. And you don't even need to visualize it. Honestly, just setting the intention that you are ready to resolve that contract is enough. But this is soul contracts that are ending. This is partnerships that are getting ready to end, that have served their purpose, that have run their due course. And so nothing serves us by holding on to those anymore. It's just, there's no point. Once it's done, it's done. Once we've learned what we were meant to learn, experience what we were meant to experience, it's done, it's over. We're simply derailing our growth process by hanging on to that when it's outdated, when it's time to let it go. Just let it go. And then under this, oh my God, you guys, this is crazy. These cards, I shuffle these cards. They're not supposed to be like this. But we have both of the Jupiter cards here. Jupiter return and Jupiter. So this is abundance, 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 all right? With the Grand Trine blessings, dude, this is so much abundance. I don't even know what to say about that. That's ridiculous. So much good stuff coming in. It's, oh my God. Yeah, that's just Spirit being like, it's happening for you. It is happening for you. This is coming in for you. I don't think Spirit could say it any more clearly. And it's like coming out after I pulled these cards off too. It's like all of this abundance when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to your partnerships. And this isn't just love. This is also other contracts and partnerships that are done and ready to be completed, so that you can move on to the people that you're meant to, if this is career, the people you're meant to work with next, friendships, whatever it is. All of those old old contracts that are completed. But yeah, there's so much abundance coming in on the tail side of that. It's like for some of us, the energy is linked. The energy of our career, right? Because it's all connected. The energy of our career, the energy of our relationships, the energy of our abundance, the energy of our spiritual journey. It's all one and the same. So when we make shifts in one area, we want to make shifts in all areas. And when we are able to make these shifts in all areas, that's when we become fully in alignment with our blessings. We can't be holding on and clinging on to old, outdated people, situations, jobs, belief systems, whatever, on one hand, and be moving forward in another hand because it's off balance. We need to be willing to move forward and step forward in all areas. And that's the energy. That's what we're being called to do during this eclipse. And then we have, oh my God, I can't. You guys, this is ridiculous. So we have the 10th house, the world. This is making your mark on the world. This is the area where you are most recognized. This is your persona. This is how people perceive you, your reputation, all of that stuff. This is the world, just like it says. It's absolutely everything. It's being publicly recognized. It's incredible success, especially with the part of fortune under it. Increase in social standing, increase in fortune, increase in abundance, increase in everything. This is people excelling, being at the top of your game when it comes to your career, when it comes to your life purpose, when it comes to what you are contributing in the world. This energy just, oh my God, just coming through so incredibly strong right now, right? The midheaven right here, you guys, like, I can't. I could keep going, actually, because then we have the North Node, life's purpose, coming out with the void of course moon here missing, but the void of course moon is upside down. And so the way I see that is like those of us who have been confused about our life purpose, who felt like we were kind of floating in outer space, we didn't know really what it was, how to go about accessing it. That energy, that's the energy that we were feeling. And we're coming out of that energy now and connecting more deeply to our life's purpose. And part of how we're doing that is by doing the work. Yeah, we could keep going. We could. All right, this is it. I promise this is it. I just have to show you guys. The Gemini energy. This is the energy the North Node is in right now. That curious energy. This is also the energy of communication, right? So we really want to be communicating. We want to be, I'm feeling this as like, we want to be connecting with people and all the different ways that we can, like, I'm noticing the two people here with their hands connected like this. So it's really that, yeah, no, this is just a strong energy of communication. It says, I think. And so we have been talking about belief systems. We have been talking about all of that energy of the mind, right? Of freeing our minds, all of that. Absolutely. Yes. But I'm feeling this also as communication. Like, we're also coming out of this energy of being afraid to communicate. Whatever it is that we need to speak, whatever it is that we need to say, people are getting the courage to do that as well during this solar eclipse, which is the revolution energy. That's what this is, you guys. The revolution, the inner revolution, and also the revolution of the mind, the revolution of the way that we think, the way that we communicate, the way that we connect, the way that we expand, the way that we feel, intuit, right? Jupiter, faith, sun, spirit. I'm done. I love you guys so very, very much. Honestly, I feel like that's good for this video. I feel like a lot came out. I mean, all right, no, I want to pull an Isis Oracle card. Clear. Psych. I say I'm done a lot. Those of you who've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know and you understand that when I say I'm done, I may not necessarily be done. So those of you who really do enjoy these videos and watch them through till the end, watch them through, because I just can't help myself sometimes. I get I start even going through the closing announcements and all of that, and then in the middle of it feel like I need to pull more cards. I could sit here and do this all night for you guys. I love it so much. It brings me so much joy. It is so incredibly fun to do. Like, this is the stuff that really fuels my soul. It really truly does. Right, yes. This is like the sun coming out, and this is illumination. Faith, illumination, the illumination of our path, the illumination of our spiritual journey. And we're really being called to just continue to have faith, no matter what's happening, no matter what stage of your journey you're in. Because this isn't all going to come in like bing, bang, boom for everyone and be super easy. It may still be challenging to get to this point, right? Don't give up. Continue to have faith. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in spirit. Have faith that you are being carried down this path. And just continue to do the work. Do the work as it comes up. Do the healing as it comes up. Reach out to me if you need to. I offer really powerful, really beautiful angelic heart healings. And they heal more than just the heart. It heals on all levels of being. Belvaspata was gifted to humanity to aid in this ascension process. And they call it the modality of miracles. And I can absolutely say that I have seen miracles occur through this healing work. So please reach out to me for that if you feel so called to do so. Personal readings, ascension transit charts. I do so many different things, and I would love to do them for you. And we have the Serpent of Fire coming out, which is perfect, that fiery energy. And so we are going to read this and see what guidance Isis has for us. Isis, priestess of the Serpent Sisterhood and Queen of the Serpent of Fire, guides you through transformation. Was that not the first card that came out? Now, as your energy field grows stronger and old energies are burned away in the process of your growth, right? Burned away. Burned away. We talked about the fire. That was the analogy that we were using, right? So that, yeah. Trust that you are growing and are more capable than you have been previously. Do not assess your current ability based on past standards as they no longer apply to you, right? Out of that old energy into the new energy. You are stronger and more powerful now than you have been before. You need to learn afresh what you are capable of, and Isis helps you now. The serpent headpiece of Isis represents the inner fire serpent, or Kundalini, as it rises in accordance with spiritual growth and empowerment. This happens when the time is right and we are ready. It is important to realize that as your inner energy and power is growing now, you will need to get used to new levels of strength. This means that you will need to adjust your sense of your own abilities to meet your new levels of energetic empowerment. You will need to realize you are capable of more than you previously were, and also you may need to temper your behavior to take into account the greater power and effect of your words, thoughts, and actions, I think. When you grow stronger, your words, thoughts, actions, and intentions gather potency, more so than before. Your responsibility for what you put out into the world grows too. In the same way that a drop of water causes less movement than a tsunami, your emotions and words will have a bigger effect because of the energy behind them. Your serpent of fire is awakening. Isis can help you manage this process so that what you put out into the world comes from a place of wisdom and love, service and compassion, healing and awareness. One of the first lessons this card offers you is the recognition of your power. It is perilous to underestimate your spiritual power, as you can unintentionally create harm by not realizing that your actions and words have an effect on the world around you, and the effect of those actions and words come back to you multiplied as karmic return. Serpent of Fire calls you to become aware of your power by having an open and curious awareness, that's that Gemini energy, and noticing with detachment and clear perception the signs of confirmation that you do have an effect upon your surroundings. You can then manage your power with greater wisdom. The second lesson of the Oracle of the Serpent of Fire is to trust in the process of the inner fire and what is being burned away. Just as the serpent sheds a skin to reveal itself anew, there are changes happening inside of you, and some old identities, beliefs about yourself and others, old habits or patterns of behavior that will not survive the growth into the new expression of you. Whilst you will likely be happy to let these go, there can be uncertainty and a sense of not knowing who you are anymore as you transition between the old and new expressions of yourself. This is a sign that you are growing in a profound way, And rather than something to be avoided, it can be embraced as confirmation of this growth. Lady Isis, priestess of the Serpent Sisterhood, understands that in the growth of spiritual power, old forms are burned away to allow for new life to emerge. It is safe to trust that any endings or discomfort as the familiar begins to make way for the unfamiliar in your life now are signs of your growth and are to be celebrated. Come on. Is that not the best way to close this? And then on the bottom of the deck here, we also have Wings of Isis uniting with the angelic self. And so this is guidance that many of you watching are in. We're all angelic beings, right? But are connecting with your angelic nature. And so really being able to merge with that, to identify with that, to play with that, to connect with the angels. As I said, for those of you that this resonates with, the Belvaspata angelic healing of the heart may be really helpful for you. You may really enjoy playing in those energies. I also teach Belvaspata for those that are in my area or who are able to travel for initiation. I am a grandmaster and a teacher of Belvaspata. But that energy, it's working with the angels. It's knowing that you are an angelic being and really coming into an understanding of what that is and embracing that angelic side of your nature. Many of us, and like I said, we're all angelic beings, right? Because we are all part of Source. But many of us have many experiences on the angelic planes. There are some people who have experiences primarily in those planes, right? And so this is knowing, connecting to your angelic heritage, connecting to the angelic realms in general, knowing that you have a strong connection to the angels and the angels want to work with you. That's what that card means. Also brings angelic assistance and intervention. And confirmation that any impressions you have had that you belong not only to the human kingdom, but also the angelic one are correct, like I just said. Yeah. Yes, so it's developing that relationship with the angels, with your own angelic nature, and really tapping into what that means, communicating with them. They want to work with you. They want to communicate with you. So that's really cool that that's coming out too. All right, I am going to close this reading now. I love you guys so very, very, very much. This is such beautiful, high vibrational, high frequency energy. This is, oh my God. No, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to, I feel like we've said enough. We've said enough. We talked about the rewriting all the old belief systems, all the childhood trauma, all of that. Oh, it's so tempting to keep going through the deck. I gotta focus. I appreciate you so very, very much. I love you all. If you liked this video, like this video. There are links down below to donate if you feel so moved to donate to my channel. My email is down below if you want to reach out to me to set up an angelic healing, if you want to set up a reading. I love hearing from you guys. I love working with you guys. I just, from the bottom of my heart, this is such an exciting time to be alive, and it is so exciting to see this community continuing to grow. The more people that join this channel, join this community, the bigger the energy gets. And I think that's why I'm getting more and more excited. I'm going to have to find a way. I'm going to have to ask the angels to anchor me a little better in the future. Like if we continue to grow, because it's just, I feel the expansion of the energy and I tap into it. The reason that I can do these readings and everything that comes through for you guys. It's because they know who I'm channeling this information for. They know who's watching this and they know what you need to hear. They know what's going on with you. And the fact that this is what's coming through for you guys is absolutely incredible, because this is really, really good stuff. So thank you. I appreciate you. I am so, so thrilled to be making this connection with you, to be sharing this experience with all of you. Have an incredible solar eclipse. Please join me on 12/21. I would love to get to know as many of you as possible, so that we can have the chat, we can have the interaction before, we can do the meditation, and then maybe have some fun after the mass meditation is over. I will talk to you guys very, very soon.